This is a brief video checking in for week 4. I suppose there's two important things about week 4. Number one is that you need to write your first essay on part 1 of the course. So make sure that you know what the assignment is, but just by clicking on it and seeing what the choices are, you have to write in response to one or the other of these topics, of these questions, not both. So choose it with care. But in any case, you have to write your first essay. Make sure you're aware of that and you're aware of what the assignment is. And please watch the video that goes along with it. That should be of some help. And hopefully will clarify any questions you have, but feel free, of course, to contact me individually with any more specific concerns. The second thing about this week is that we're starting part 2 of the course. We've finished part 3. We've finished part 1, which is these 3 readings, which really let's take a look at the course outline. And you might want to look at the thematic course overview again to remind yourself of what the sort of logic and progression of the course is. Part 1 was called Epicureanism and its puzzles, and it's really quite clear, I'm sure, to you now why I would call it that. Part 2 is called The Meaning of Mortality, and as I say in that video, things open up quite a bit, I think, because we're not talking about death in this sort of narrow sense of the word death, that death as an event or a non-event or as the termination. We're not focusing really on death. We're focusing on mortality, which is different. Obviously, it's related. But when I say it opens up, I think it opens up because it's easier to talk about mortality philosophically than it is to talk about death, because, again, especially under Epicurean constraints, it's not really clear what death is because it is nothing, right? Whereas mortality is something. Mortality is the state of being the kind of creature that knows that someday it will die. At least human mortality is that. Whereas mortality in general is just the state of being the kind of thing that can and will die, whether you're aware of it or not. But it's a state that we ourselves experience. So it's easier to talk about, I think. And the 2 essays go into the philosophical implications of being mortal, how it affects our lives, especially Glenn Gray's presentation of the idea of death and existentialism. It's our consciousness of being mortal creatures, which really defines what we are. So it's really much more wide-ranging. 2 great essays, Jonas and Glenn Gray. So this week we're concentrating on looking back on the first 3 readings, making choices about what we're going to write our essay on. Just do it, the end of this week on Sunday. And we're beginning a new part of the course where we're focusing on death in a much different way.